Now, let's talk here about the coronation and some of the detail. It has now been confirmed that only working royals will be on the balcony, so Harry and Meghan won't get the photo that will be the trailer for their next Netflix documentary.
Yes, absolutely right. Nor will Prince Andrew, because he's also stepped away. They have made demands about standing on the balcony. On the one hand, they've been very nice in saying they want such an intimate family moment. I believe that, and you believe anything. And on the other hand, they demand that they are on there with their children, and also that they want an apology first, and that during this state event, it's not a family event, there will be a moment when they sing happy birthday to Archie, who will be 4 on that day. So none of that has worked. The authority and the kindness from them, nobody's interested in, so they won't be there. I expect they're absolutely furious.
Now, you've caused some global sensations with an insight that your belief is that Harry's concerned that he's going to be the next one to be cut off by Meghan.
Yes. There was a lot of discussion about Meghan being very ruthless, getting rid of people. She did this with her first husband. She sent back her engagement ring and wedding ring in an envelope. That was the first he knew that the marriage was over. And she's very sort of ruthless with staff. She gets very angry with them and then they leave. Not necessarily her giving them the leave, or it was her. We don't quite know which way it is, but she's very tough. And I think that she threatened Harry when she was still at Buckingham Palace by hating it so much that she actually said to him that she felt she was having suicidal thoughts, and she was at the time pregnant. So Harry absolutely scampered and they tried to rush out. That's why he said, we had to leave there instantly. We had to get out of there. And I think that is a bit of a way of keeping him doing what she wants. I know it sounds awful of me to say, but in fact, I do believe that. And I don't understand why a wife or a partner wouldn't say to her husband, who she says that she loves, that he shouldn't talk about taking drugs of any sort, and particularly not illegal ones, because there might be a problem about getting back into America, or, sort of being given jobs about advising other people with mental health issues if he himself is taking loads of drugs. And I think that he's frightened not to listen to her. So I believe that Meghan, who knows what he does and what he writes and what he's going to say, that he feels scared. If he doesn't do what she tells him, he will lose her, and he is still desperately in love with her.
Well, of course, they live in a bubble. Rich people do, famous people do, but there's this extra layer of security and attention because of the royal titles. But these are people who went through the global pandemic, being locked down in a bloody big place in Canada, swapping that for a borrowed mansion in LA. Hardly the experience anyone else was having when they couldn't leave their, 2-bedroom flats in London, Sydney, LA, and everywhere else. So maybe her assumption here is that, you can just declare what you want because that's for common people to be held up on, not us.
I think that's right. I mean, you can see the arrogance now. I mean, the Harry I knew when I was writing his biography in 2017 and 2018, he was charismatic, he was fun. He did have a bit of a temper, then so do lots of people, but he was very fun, and he could speak off the cuff very nicely, but now you feel it's all regimented and it's absolutely rehearsed beforehand. And I don't think that, it's just a very unhappy place for him to be.
We also hear that Fergie apparently has offered somewhat of a subtle dig, suggesting, it was your choice to leave.
Yes, That was very interesting. I think she's in a bit of a muddle what she feels about them, because one point she said she doesn't know Meghan, she's hardly seen her, you didn't know her, whereas Meghan said to Oprah Winfrey, she taught me how to curtsy, as if she didn't know. If you look back at the Suits programmes, she was curtsying quite a lot, but never mind about that. Then she said, a few days later, how much she loved her and what a wonderful mother she was. I thought that Eugenie, who is a friend of Harry and Meghan, sort of nudged her and said, come on now, you've got to say something nice. And now she's saying it's their fault they left. So I don't know what she really means. But actually, they did leave. This is what they wanted. This is what they chose to do rather aggressively. And they're not happy there. They should, by any sort of imagination, be content with their lives. They've got loads of millions. They've got a little girl, little boy, who both seem healthy. They've got 16 bathrooms in their mansion and lots of garden and near the sea. They should be now all moving forward, instead of which they're hanging on by their fingertips to before they left, the 3 years before. Stop it. Have a nice time. Don't make your life so difficult. But Meghan has to win, and she didn't win what she wanted, which was to have lots of ways of doing royal stuff, but also making money out of it. Or perhaps it's the other way around.
Now, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, doesn't have a royal title, but well and truly is a princess of the woke kingdom. And when she decided about which royal she was going to team up with, she's decided to team up with Prince William, not with Prince Harry. Instead, one of her post-politics jobs is going to be working on their Earthshot movement, not Archwell.
Yes, that's very, very interesting, isn't it? I mean, you go for the one that people respond to most positively and the maximum of people, because the Earthshot is a very important thing about climate change. And if you are passionate about that, then that's where you want to go. I mean, Meghan put her on her list of famous women, the best women in the world, when she sort of co-edited a magazine. And they will be very unhappy.
Sounds like you tried to give her the kiss of death.
But I think this shows as well that their popularity is going right down. They're not the people you want to be seen with, because they have been awful about the monarchy and their own family. And I think people around the world, it doesn't matter what you think about the monarchy, but you think about family, and this is not the way to treat anybody's family.
Now, I know that many of the people who help us put the show and these videos together, they are obsessed with all the little details of William and Kate's kids and what they're going to be doing at the coronation. Now, Prince George will be one of the page boys for his grandfather.
I think that's so lovely. If he's up to it, and I'm sure he's being trained to do it, because he's quite a shy boy, but he seems to be less shy than he was when he was younger. And I think he has an idea about his position. He sits very nicely when he's wearing a suit and tie, watching rugby or football with his parents. He's quite smiley, and I think he's got over that awful, very shy time. But it's a very important job, and I think it will be incredibly moving, because you see the king, you see the heir to the throne, and you see the next heir to the throne, and they look such a lovely family, and I hope he doesn't get too nervous. But with parents that he's got, and a particularly wonderful mother, Catherine, I think he would do it very, very well.
And my little girls are obsessed with the Princess Charlotte, so they want to know, will she be wearing a tiara?
I think that's very unlikely. And she's lucky, really, because they're incredibly heavy. All those diamonds weigh a lot. And if that's on her head, I mean, she really doesn't need it yet. They could make something special with flowers, but I think they won't. I think that, it'll be enough for the children to be there and be in an open carriage and wave at everyone. I think that's absolutely fantastic for them. When she's only 7, Charlotte, she's a fantastic girl, but you don't want to put too much on her, especially not a heavy tiara.
I've got a 5 and an 8-year-old, and they are well and truly, they know how to wear a plastic tiara, but there's no diamonds in our house, but they'll be very much looking forward to what she's doing. Now, I've got to say, put too much pressure on a very little boy, but I love Louis. I loved Louis when he was there for the Jubilee celebrations, and he was so cute and just reacting like a little kid. But we were reading today in the Australian press, there's a chance he may not have any public role in this because there's a chance he'll start pulling faces. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think we all fell in love with Louis, but they have said that he's actually going to come, and therefore I imagine that he's also got a bit older. He'll be 5. It's a very good age, and he will know that he mustn't do that. It also won't go on for quite so long. I mean, the pageant was a very, very long thing for a small boy to see, and he got bored. But I think this time he'll be sitting not to do anything naughty. And his sister, who is very strong-minded about to do the right thing, she told George when he needed to bow. When it was the Queen's funeral, and she nudged him and told him. And I think she will give Louis a huge nudge. She's very responsible and strong-minded, and I think he won't dare do it. And I think also the mood in Westminster will be very serious and very Christian, and it is a Christian ceremony. And I think the atmosphere is very, very different from being outside and cheering at all sorts of funny clowns and things passing by.
Good on you, Angela. Lovely to talk to you. Look forward to doing so again before the coronation.
Lovely. Thank you. Bye.